guys, this is Lovin Meets with Decisive Zone. Why entrepreneurs choose the UAE. We are seeing a huge influx of high net worth individuals. Basically, millionaires and billionaires are choosing the UAE, so we sat down to understand why.
And so if you have missed it, don't forget we go in podcast form. So subscribe to the Lovin Meets podcast wherever you get your podcasts from and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today's guests are Sahil and Mariam Rashid from Decisive Zone. Today we'll look at the influx of high net worth individuals to the UAE, and we are asking why the UAE is a top choice for entrepreneurs and an attractive destination for startups around the world. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, nice to be back here.
Absolutely. Always looking forward to the chat because today we want to know, let's dive right in, why entrepreneurs, high net worth individuals from around the world are choosing the UAE.
I mean, look, when I first came to Dubai, I was like, I wanted to move here and start a new career, but I didn't know what to do, where to go. So Dubai, when I first came, I just felt like it had so many good things. The culture, it was westernized, and obviously the lifestyle as well itself, it's really good. Mm-hmm. So Dubai, you have it all. You have the visa, you have everything else around.
There's also been, in the past we've been discussing the last couple of weeks that there's 7,000 new millionaires that are expected to come into the country.
Right.
But on the flip side, you do see a larger number of small business owners from the western half of the world who want to move here because they want to take over and they want to take advantage of things like the tax structure. They want to take advantage of their free for life visas, things of that nature. And plus the thing is that if people are willing to pay a small percentage in terms of tax to the government, they're super happy to pay that because of the lifestyle that they're getting in return. They're getting safety, security, nice infrastructure in the city, and everything's available here. So I think that's one of the main reasons why people are moving and looking to move to the country.
I'm glad you touched on smaller businesses as well, because I'm not sure about now, but there has been this preconception that people are moving to the UAE, they're making money and they're leaving. In your guys's, with your hat on from Decisive Zone, do you see that happening now? Or what is kind of like the trend on that?
No, not at all. Because when they come to Dubai, they realize, they have everything they need here. So the safety environment is number one. Obviously, what's happening in the world at the moment, it's quite, difficult to raise children. There's a lot of things. And of course, the UK at the moment, the tax has gone up. So they come, they set up their companies, and then they realize, actually, I really like it here. You have like a 2-year plan, and then it ends up being 10 years, just like myself. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, yeah, exactly. So you find yourself just drifting towards, making your children come, living the way they live their lifestyle in the UAE really, really has a big impact on the kids and everything.
Absolutely, and that sort of again ties into the fact that businesses are, and it's not just the case that an established business is looking to move here. People who are just starting off, who just have a dream, and let's say they've collected a bit of money and they feel like this country as a starting point is probably the best option, right? Because setup costs are low, running costs are low in terms of company, but also the lifestyle that you get in return, the sort of connection between the West and the East that you're able to establish as a business, that's something that no other country would offer you, right? And then that's sort of tying into what Mariam said as well. So I feel like people are here to stay.
I'd love to know the difference in numbers over the years. So it would be more of a young person's dream to leave the country to come to the UAE. But now kind of what we're saying is that, smaller businesses are coming. How has the UAE made itself an attractive destination for families? For example, to imagine you're in another country, you've got your wife, your kids, your husband, your dog, and you decide to uproot your entire life to come to the UAE. How has the UAE painted that picture to the world that, look, we don't just welcome young entrepreneurs, we welcome families as well?
So again, it's a case of young entrepreneurs who are, like I mentioned, they're starting off, just recently. They are looking to build a life in the UAE. So they've made home ownership very simple. They give you the same kind of perks as, the western half of the world, where if you buy a house, it's yours, it's 100% yours. But the beauty of it is, over time, you don't have to pay a capital gains tax, which in other parts of the world, as your property value appreciates, you may have to pay a certain percentage to the government. UAE doesn't have that, and that sort of, builds into the favorable nature of setting up in the UAE. So there's that, obviously, and when families move here, there's so many different schools available for kids to, families have an option to look at different schools, different, malls, and it's just the case that all ties into the lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Because the business is really being sorted, but then there's also a lifestyle change, and this is probably the best place, and I would say the safest place to start off.
Also, the UAE is very westernized now as well. They're really open to the Western world. They're looking into, how people would be comfortable living here. For example, my son, he's brought up in the UK. He was brought up in Dubai, but born in the UK. I'm originally Lebanese, and my first language was Arabic, but I obviously speak English. So I really wanted him to make sure his Arabic is still well spoken. So I first put him in a British school, and then I realized, actually, let me put him in a Arabic-based school where he can speak fluent Arabic. So there's options for a lot of people that are looking to look after their kids in terms of their languages and social aspect of things.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most interesting demographic shift in terms of people coming to the UAE that you've seen in terms of maybe business setup in the last 5 to 10 years?
I mean, a demographic, I don't think you would classify it as a shift. I would classify a demograph as evolving, right? Because it used to be very, very old school businesses who have that sort of turnover and who have the capacity and the ability to just, maybe just pack up all their stuff and relocate to Dubai just like that, because they have the money to do it. But the evolution of the demographic of the business owners that are setting up in the country is the fact that even someone who may not have that sort of capacity or may not have that sort of ability can also do that. Right, so you already have a strong fundamental base of businesses that are being built up, but then the UAE government is sort of facilitating building on those blocks and allowing more sort of young entrepreneurs and businesses to move it here and then start a life here.
So then what does that say for potential business owners already in the UAE? Are we getting nervous from the high interest from abroad? Does that cause a competitive market for the better, for the worse?
I mean, as economics goes, that competition is always good for business, right? Like that's the fundamental of economics. So if there are businesses that are coming into the country and, let's say there are brands in the region or in the UAE that may have had a monopoly sort of a business model for a long time, now it's a case of competition. So they have to also step up their game, improve the quality of their product or service, work on pricing, work on things of that nature, and sort of stay true to the culture at the same time. Right, so like that's the reason why I mentioned it's not a shift. I would classify it more as evolution, to be honest with you.
And when you have this small businesses here, can you speak to the UAE supporting them? Like, is there support in place for small business trying to establish themselves in the UAE?
Absolutely. I mean, as far as free zones go, there's a lot of support, because the thing is that, I mean, obviously in terms of, there's incubators, available in various free zones. There's different startup hubs that the government's directly funding, and if you do, have a brilliant idea, then you apply to the startup hubs or you apply to the incubators, etc. The government is willing to fund that, right? So it's just a case that there is help available if you need it. So it's just one of them situations. And if you don't, let's say, unfortunately, if you don't make the cut, then obviously there is, the flip side where setting up a business itself is relatively, I wouldn't say cheap, but less expensive. So you do have, options available out there. So, I mean, that is, either directly or indirectly, it is support.
So interesting, the government funding. Do you have success cases from Decisive Zone who've gone that route? And managed to gain support through incubators or different types of funding?
There has been a couple of cases. I mean, obviously we have, NDAs with our clients, but there have been a couple of cases. I would throw, as an industry, I would throw out maybe a payment gateway, a certain payment gateway that we've worked with, and it's reached new levels. There's a lot
Amazing.
There's a lot of businesses in real estate, construction, and various industries, and where the incubators have sort of facilitated that shift and that sort of growth for them. So there has been cases, yeah.
And is there, so we're not naming names, but is there specific industries that you think that the UAE is supporting more? Just for example, I know that we have a lot of small business owners within the UAE who watch the show, and for them, where is the UAE directing its money in terms of small business support?
It's going into tech at the moment. So there's a lot of investment done in AI. There's a lot of investment done in blockchain, Web3, the tech sector is where the UAE government's looking to, invest a lot of money in, because as we've been discussing for the longest time, there's been constant updates in terms of the UAE government wallets, payment gateway structures, and all of this has to be built on tech, right? So that's the reason why they want to have not just bring in the best tech, but they want to have homegrown tech and build on that sort of foundation. So as of now, that's what the UAE government's looking at.
Right, and speaking of money flow, how does the easy movement of money in the UAE facilitate small business growth?
Maya?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So how does the easy movement of money in the UAE contribute to small business growth? So regulatory environments of money, is it easy for companies to manage their money within the UAE, and is the UAE supporting that?
Yes, definitely. There's lots of different bank structures that we can provide for e-commerce companies. I can't name any names, of course, but it's really easy here in the UAE to move money around, and there's lots of help everywhere. So a lot of clients have easy access to different types of banking and services here when it comes to moving money around.
Interesting. I think banking is like one of the bugbears here, right?
Yes, yeah. Everyone. That's the main reason why they want to, start the company here, is for the bank accounts and trying to get money in and out as easy as possible.
And then would you offer supportive services on that? I know that you offer kind of a comprehensive business startup services. So if I have an issue with banking, for example, is that something that Decisive Zone can help with?
Yes, of course. Decisive Zone can help with everything.
Right.
We do provide services for banking, bookkeeping, all the regular stuff. But, we also give really good advice if you're someone that's looking to move to the UAE and start fresh and you don't know where to start from A to Z. We also help with living arrangements or schoolings, things like that. We have really our consultancy pairs where we're quite good at, giving good advice in terms of living arrangements. We have a lot of clients that sometimes they just ask, how much do I need to live in the UAE? How much do I need, on a monthly basis? So it really depends, obviously, on the type of lifestyle that you're looking for.
That's so interesting, because my sister lives in the UK, 3 kids, and they talk about moving to Dubai regularly, and I'm living on Facebook groups where someone puts on the group, I've got 20k, is this enough, is this enough? So if you're watching the show and you've got family abroad who want to move to the UAE, get them off the Facebook groups, because they're negative, and send them to the Decisive Zone when you have a consultancy service. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Finally, before you leave us, what are the key factors that make the UAE stand out as a place for both business and family for people from abroad looking to move here? We've touched on a lot of little aspects, but in your expert opinion, what are the key factors that make the UAE an attractive place?
I mean, start off immigration services, the visa structures, how it works, there's that. Then obviously tax-free living, you have home ownership, you have, like we've discussed, there's a lot of flow of money through Dubai, and for any business that's looking to set up here, you can kind of get a piece of that pie. So it is an attractive market, you know what I mean? So if you're looking to set up a business, I think Dubai is something that you should have on the cards for sure.
And also, let's not forget the safety as well. So, I know we touched a lot on that, but that's the main reason why people end up wanting to stay, because, we always feel really, really safe.
100%.
Yeah, it's more important.
You cannot put a price on that.
Nope.
Guys, that is Tuesday Visa Talks with Decisive Zone. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Next up, we had the pleasure of sitting with Tina Rahimi, who is an Olympian who represented Australia in women's boxing. We got insights from her on the Emain Khalif story, what it was like to face backlash from her fellow countrymen, and more. Stay tuned. She'll be with us after this short break.